Yes.
Terrific. Well, hi everybody, good morning. Thank you very much, Paul, for the introduction. So I'm Debbie Watkins, the CEO of Lucy, based in Singapore. And I'm going to share some insights with you today, not just about what we're doing to change the game for women in financial inclusion, but also why the game needs to be changed in the first place and what can happen when we change it. So first of all, a little bit about Lucy. Lucy is an integrated financial and business building services app that has been designed from the ground up to help entrepreneurial women to grow, thrive, and shine. Our focus is on supporting ordinary, extraordinary women everywhere to become unstoppable. So why are we doing this? Well, essentially because entrepreneurs are the lifeblood of any economy. Everywhere around the world, at all socio-economic levels, micro and small enterprises are a key driver of economic growth. And the world is changing now with the new normal. Small business registrations, for example, have grown in developed countries by up to 40% in the past year. And women entrepreneurs have been shown to generate higher revenues, to create more jobs, and use their profits more wisely through research that's been undertaken in various countries. Therefore, helping women entrepreneurs to succeed actually has a greater impact all round. This quote from Melinda Gates, I think, really sums it up. Really, that empowering and enabling women to start and grow their own businesses makes sense for everyone, not just women, but women and men. So let's have a look at what that actually means. One small fact here is that women spend 90% of their income on their families, compared to men who typically spend about 30 to 40%. So essentially, women-owned businesses tend to be more sustainable by nature and also provide a far more reaching impact throughout society. Another fact here, an analysis by Boston Consulting Group has shown that if women and men participated equally as entrepreneurs, global GDP could actually rise by approximately 3 to 6%, which is a pretty huge amount. And in addition to that, women-owned businesses, when given the same opportunities as their male-owned counterparts, tend to be 2.5 times more profitable than the average. So it's clear that helping women-owned businesses to succeed helps everyone, as I said, women and men. But if we look at the world of banking, what do we actually see? Well, the first fact is that 70% of women-owned small and medium enterprises have inadequate or no access to financial services. In addition to this, small businesses owned by men receive 84% of all traditional small business loans. Female applications are more likely to be rejected or have more stringent terms than men as well. So why is this? Well, perhaps it's because 98% of bank management is male. One actual quote that I heard from some bank management on the reasoning for this was that men tend to take more risks, and so their business is more likely to be successful. I've worked in 35 countries, from South Africa to Pakistan to Vietnam, and I've seen time and time again that mainstream financial institutions often don't really understand or cater to the real needs of women entrepreneurs. What I've seen is generally, I guess, what you describe as complacency, kind of take it or leave it approach to offering financial services, really a one-size-fits-all approach. And one-size-fits-all, of course, is really one-size-fits-none. But this has quite significant impact that can sometimes be invisible to the financial institutions providing these services. For example, if loan repayments don't fit your small business cash flow, what do? Well, in a number of places I've worked, I found that small businesses were so worried about being blacklisted by the financial institution who had lent them the money that they actually borrowed from loan sharks to pay the bank. Just think about that for a minute. Essentially now we're paying 2 lots of interest, all because the bank has not really recognized the requirements of their customer. So a combination really of lack of interest in actually tailoring products to meet individual segment needs, combined with a lack of understanding of what is essentially half the world's population, means that as a result, women entrepreneurs have consistently less access to business building financial services than their male counterparts. And as I mentioned earlier, this is everywhere around the world at all socioeconomic levels. This is not just a developing world problem, it's really everywhere. And what we see is this is a really wasted opportunity from a business perspective, of course, but also for the world as a whole. And so we at Lucy decided to do something about it. So Lucy has really been designed from the ground up to provide entrepreneurial women everywhere with the tools that they need to take control of their financial future, to realize their potential, to grow and thrive. From supporting foreign domestic workers to save to start their first business, helping homepreneurs get started after a career break, small and micro business owners to run and grow their business effectively, and enabling successful women to in turn invest in other women. What we recognized through the conversations we have had is that entrepreneurship is stressful, scary, and lonely, especially if you're a woman. Success really depends upon many different factors, and most entrepreneurs don't really have convenient and affordable access to everything that they need to grow and thrive. We also realized that many of the services that small businesses do need to grow and thrive are generally only available to larger businesses. So just a few examples here. What if you need support with conducting research? Because we all know that research is extremely important to helping ensure that you have a clear value proposition for your business and that you're actually addressing needs and pain points, right? So you need to actually go out there and find out what pain points people have. You can't really build a business effectively just on a gut reaction. So larger businesses would hire a research company, get in a consulting firm, spend time actually gathering real actionable insights. What if you need to learn how to use your accounting software that you've just acquired because you have a business that has to file accounts in a correct format on the right date? Larger businesses send people on a training course to learn how to use the accounting software and how to do their records correctly. Smaller businesses generally rely on Google, their friends, or just make it up as they go along. And arguably, I would say that, you know, these kind of skills and access to information and knowledge as well are needed even more at that early stage when somebody's just starting out, because we know, of course, that a very large percentages of sort of small businesses tend to fail very early on. And what we've recognized as well is that in many cases, this is for all of those boring reasons like cash flow or sort of projecting, actually doing proper research and understanding that there is really a market for what it is that they do. And so we'd seen this real kind of gap here between, say, what micro and small businesses really need, but actually don't have affordable access to. And so we decided to kind of look at this holistically and fix that with an integrated suite of services that are delivered seamlessly through our app, with a real focus here on making it affordable, accessible, and relevant. You can see on this slide that we've got a number of different components. At the top is really the focus on our financial services, which we've been, again, very much tailoring for particular needs for specific segments, and again, particularly addressing the unique pain points that those groups have. What we've come up with, which I can share some more details on if people are interested later, is some quite unique and unusual products that don't really fit into kind of mainstream financial services, basically because we'd recognize that this is really what people needed. That the red circle is more about learning. And so again, we'd recognize that finding access to the right kind of information at the right time is really a key challenge. I mean, for example, if you're making your first hire, what should a good structure for an employment contract look like? If you need to do your own taxes, like how do you find the easy way to do that, that you're compliant with the regulations in your particular country? But also that we've seen as well that women by and large tend to want to help other women to succeed. There's a kind of real pay it forward sort of mentality. And so what we're enabling as well is a forum that enables entrepreneurs to actually ask other entrepreneurs for advice or guidance or useful links or anything that they may need, and really helping to build up a community of entrepreneurial women. The third area here is about integrated accounting and marketplaces and growth tools. Again, we've seen that for a lot of people, even micro entrepreneurs who are very successful, accounting is one of those things that nobody really likes to do. And I've seen so many people who actually say, well, the accounting is that box there in the corner where I've put all my receipts and hope that someone else will sort it out eventually. And it's these kind of things that can hinder micro enterprises, particularly people working at home as well, in actually making their business run smoothly. Excuse me. So we're also looking at a marketplace platform because I think everybody recognizes that sort of it's not just a case and build it and they'll come when it comes to websites. It's actually getting the marketing, and if you're anything like me, nobody really understands Google AdWords and how it works. So again, we're kind of helping to streamline and help people to really ramp up their small businesses very quickly. So as I said, our approach to designing Lucy has been very customer-centric. This has been largely driven by my experience of 21 years now, living in Asia and advising financial institutions on product and technology strategy. As part of this, I mentioned I've worked in about 35 countries, and I personally conducted workshops in value proposition design everywhere from Mexico to Kyrgyzstan. And what I've seen is, like, firsthand is how difficult it is for people to focus on the customer first. It's really human nature to come up with an idea for a product and then try to retrofit customer research to back up your idea for this product. People tend to leap to the right-hand side here and then kind of fit the left-hand side to meet it. And so what we've done is really taken quite a different approach on the value proposition design side of things, which has really been to start with the customer, understand really their life, the jobs that they need to get done, their pains and aspirations, and work from there. And that's actually helped us in quite a number of different ways. As I mentioned before, not just about designing the actual products and finding that some of these products look quite different from the usual, but really helping us with positioning as we move into our marketing strategy. So here's just one simple example of the process that we went through. So this was really starting with the fears and aspirations. The groups here are our three main segments that we're working with in Singapore. FDW in this case is foreign domestic workers, or the maids or helpers. There are 250,000 of these in Singapore, all of whom are living with their employers and come from three main countries, being the Philippines, Indonesia, and Myanmar. FDE is the foreign domestic workers employer, who actually in lots of cases overlaps with the homepreneur, because many women who employ a helper would also have a small business that they're running in parallel with the household and everything else. And this is just really a summarized version of the kind of pretty extensive work that we did, where we were breaking down the challenges and issues and aspirations that each different segment had. And we did this through a very qualitative approach. I've got a lot of background in research, which is a lot of it has really been very qualitative. Everything from sort of going out talking to garment factory workers in Bangladesh through to farmers in the mountains in Nepal, and everywhere in between. And I'd really found that having these more in-depth conversations rather than just a survey with a list of yes and no, or on a scale of 1 to 5, really helps to drive understanding and help us to get those kind of deep insights that really enable us to come up with something that's relevant and meaningful for our customers. And so what we've been able to do here is to sort of break down here some of the simplified ideas to actually see what is needed. And from there we work from the left to the right, where we're coming up with the product, what the alternatives or inertia is, and inertia being doing nothing, our USP, and so the user experience and so forth. And then this can help, as you can see at the bottom here, with about the product positioning and messaging when it comes to our marketing side of things. So we started in Singapore, as I mentioned, and we'll be expanding through to Southeast Asia, starting from later on this year and then beyond. We've recognized, as I mentioned, that one size fits all is really one size fits none. But that one size fits none is typically all that most people get offered from existing financial institutions. And so what we've been doing is leveraging this customer-centric product design approach and combining it with smart use of technology to really make it personal, but also to make it feel personal. And so the products, of course, are a very important aspect, but the user experience is vital too. And given that we are digital first, or digital only, I guess, really, one of the key challenges that we've had and have spent a lot of time addressing is how to make Lucy really feel like a person and someone that you're actually really interacting with via your phone. And we've spent a lot of time and effort on this. If you have a look at the website, you'll actually see how we've been focused on our branding and messaging as well. A key thing here about our technology platform. So because we're a neobank, essentially what this means is that we act as a kind of front-end relationship manager to financial services providers. So although we're doing everything through our own brand, and all of the onboarding and ultimately credit scoring and relationship management is through our app, at the back end, we're actually leveraging licenses from regulated financial institutions. And we've structured this in a way that we can actually help bring value to the financial institutions by sort of accessing and targeting customers that they don't want to really serve by themselves. And our technology platform has really been built from the ground up to enable us to sort of plug and play with multiple financial institutions in different countries. And the net result of this is that we enable women to realize their potential, to take control of their financial future, to grow, thrive, and shine. This is really what changing the game means for us. We're leveling the playing field. And here's a small video just showing what can happen when we do this. So I think we've got the video back there. I don't know what happened there. Sorry about that.
Yes, you did, Debbie.
All right, good. So thanks for your time anyway, and I'm open to questions.
Great, thank you so much. I think, well, first of all, I'd just like to say on behalf of everybody watching this, I think the work that you're doing is amazing, and, you know, empowering these people that are typically kind of left behind. I think, you know, it's through organizations like yours that are emerging that we are ultimately going to bring more people into the banked fold. We do have a few questions. I guess, first of all, there's a quick one from me. How can people get involved in the work that you're doing, right? What are the kind of opportunities to get involved with you guys? Are you looking for partners, or, you know, how can they find out more?
Yes, as I kind of mentioned as well, as a neobank, we rely on partnerships with financial providers at the back end. And so we are very much open to working with banks in the country, or microfinance institutions or mobile wallets in the countries that we're planning to move to. So what we see is that this is like really a value add proposition, because we've recognized, and certainly I've recognized through countries that I've worked in the past, is that a large number of mainstream banks and financial institutions don't really want to serve micro entrepreneurs. It's not something that they're comfortable with. It's kind of a completely new group and needs a completely different focus. But on the other hand, obviously it makes complete sense for them to have the aggregated loan book of a group of a segment that's been sort of well KYC'd and well assessed for credit through sort of, you know, leading edge technology, but without actually having to serve the customers directly. And so, yeah, what we're looking as we move into Southeast Asia and then beyond is really financial institutions that would like to work with us on this. Okay,
great. Well, you heard it here first, folks. Get in touch with Debbie if you want to find out more. There's another question from one of our audience members, Arvin Leo. Arvin says, how do you help your bank partners get past their sometimes archaic and inflexible internal risk management matrices in order to support loans to smaller businesses?
Yes, well, the quick answer is we're kind of doing that ourselves as far as the credit scoring approaches are concerned. We recognize, of course, as I do, having worked in the places that I've worked in, that you know, these are typically what they call thin file clients. So there won't be a record at the credit bureau. In many cases, people are sort of very much underbanked. And so what we are doing is building up a model which uses a blended credit scoring, including alternative data. One of the things that we do have is, of course, an awful lot of data through all of the different modules and add-on services that we're offering. And this enables us to be very holistic in the credit scoring approaches that we're taking. And so the nice thing is here that it means the bank doesn't have to actually worry about that side of things, that we'll be actually able to do the credit scoring using multiple different data points and sort of an underlying machine learning algorithm.
Okay, great. And just one final quick question before we wrap up, Debbie. A question from Shang in the audience. What's your strategy to reach your audience in 2021?
Well, first of all, we're sort of launching in Singapore, as I mentioned, literally imminently. We've already got people signing up for a waiting list now, which has been our sort of first focus. As a digital first company, of course, digital marketing is the first place to go, but I'm also working very closely with different groups, sort of NGOs that look after foreign domestic workers, micro and small business owner groups, etc. So it's kind of a community side of things as well. Our strategy going beyond that is, first of all, we're looking at the other end of the remittance for the foreign domestic workers, so essentially sort of Philippines, Indonesia, and Myanmar. But we've recognized as well that Hong Kong has a very similar demographic and actually similar challenges to Hong Kong. There are 400,000 domestic workers there from the same countries and so forth, and so Hong Kong is very much in our sights as well. But what's been interesting is that kind of, because I know people in so many countries in financial inclusion, once they found out about what we were doing, they're like, well, we really need Lucy in Pakistan, we really need it in Ethiopia, we really need it in England. And so we're kind of being quite agile on this. We're recognizing that everywhere has a problem, and so we've designed our approach really to be responsive to that.
Fantastic. Well, great. Thank you so much, Lucy. That does bring us to the end of this morning's session, but some really great insights from you there. And it's great to hear about some of the work that you're doing, and where I'm sure Mia and everybody else that's watching is eagerly anticipating finding out more about what's to come in the coming months. So if you want to contact Debbie, you can reach her through the speakers area. Just click through into there and you can drop her a connection request. Thanks so much, Debbie. And hopefully we'll meet in person soon.
Thank you very much, Paul.